I'm live. All right. Today is March 4th. Amazing. And my name is, oh yeah, it looks like it's using the wrong, is my voice going with my lips? I can't tell. Anyway, no one's here yet, but my name is Tori Christman. If you happen to have popped on here, I was in Scientology for 30 years. And I know that's a long time. I say it all the time, but it was a long time. But there was no internet when I got on. I joined in 1969, and in 1969 there was no internet. And for a long time there was no internet. So really it wasn't until, hey, hi California Dreamin' OG. Hi. Thank you for coming by. So in 69 there wasn't an internet. So we had no access to the information, all the people on the internet. Isn't it shocking? I mean, people know tons and tons of information about Scientology now that I really didn't know about until after I escaped out in 2000. I escaped out in 2000, and at the time I was just going to leave. I really didn't. I mean, critics had told me about all these negative things they do, but I didn't believe them. I thought, oh, they're just making it up. It's exaggeration. No way. And then they canceled my van. The vice president was at LAX. And truly, like I say on TikTok to the kids, at LAX, I was a Scientologist. By the time they chased me across the country, by the time I got to Tampa, Florida, at 1:45 in the morning, guess what? I was an activist. And that was because of what they did. It's not because of what I did or anybody else did. It's because of what they did. Hi, Mark. Thanks for coming by. I just thought I'd pop on tonight and talk a little bit about music and books and movies and how those truly changed my life. I mean, I would have still been in Scientology if it wasn't for especially books. I read books for probably 10 years while I was on OT7. Not anti-Scientology stuff. It wasn't anything like that. They were just books. What happened, I think I've told you guys this story, but anyway, I'll wait a minute and tell it again because there's probably some people that haven't heard it, but a lot of you guys have. I think you guys have, about the guys with AIDS. Have you heard that? Yeah, I think you have. If you haven't, let me know. But anyway, that was the start for me. I have on this scarf, and it's a really pretty scarf, but it's hard to show. It's hard to show it because it kind of, so I'm going like this, so maybe you can see it, but then it doesn't really work. Whatever. So how are you two? How are you two doing? And how's everyone else doing? I know that Aaron is happy today because he didn't go to prison, so that's good. I'm always happy somebody doesn't go to prison. I mean, prison is not a healthy life for anybody. Hey, Dandy Warhol, thank you for coming by. Great interview. I know, wasn't it great? I loved hearing from Henry. And please pass it on to your Facebook sites and other things you can, because it really has great factual information. That's one of the main things I wanted to say is please pass it on. Hi, let's see if I see it right. K White, hi. I can't read the rest of it. K White, nothing makes sense. Hey, you got that right. That's good. Hi, Robert and Beach. And K White, nothing makes sense. Boy, that is true. Very true. All right. And your hair looks great. Hello, Tori. Hi, Lolo. I'm laughing because I have to wash it. I feel like it looks awful. That's one of the reasons I wasn't going to go on today. I thought, oh, I look like such a mess. But thank you. That's nice that you said that. I appreciate that. Hello, Tori. I'm Cece's friend. Oh, from Agua Dulce. Oh, yeah. I enjoyed listening to you. You speak quietly and without bad language most of the time. You can't always guarantee that. Lots of people could and should learn from you. Thank you. I agree. And definitely from Henri. If you heard his Monday night, wow, he had so much factual information. That's where I really, I knew I liked him from the minute I met him. I wasn't kidding when I said that. I mean, he showed up a couple of years ago and it was a whole bunch of, we were all protesting at the time. And everybody was kind of like, who's this guy? And I said, yeah, who is that guy? And they said, his name's Henri. And I said, oh, okay. And I went over to say hi to him, and he said, yeah, I'm just pulling up this phony grass. It's against the law. And I said, really? And I always like people who do stuff. You know what I mean? A lot of people talk, but people who do stuff, that's always good in my book. And so right away, I was interested in him. And so anyway, it was just amazing. I knew he was that kind of guy. So it was amazing to really hear how much stuff he does know. And I'm sure that was like the tip of the iceberg. But hey, JB808, hi. Hearts. JB808 does my thumbnails for me, and I greatly appreciate it because I really don't know how to do them. And Drew and I sometimes try to do a little picture or something like that, but he makes up good ones. You make up some really good ones. I like them. I'm really impressed. So thank you for helping. And I think Kelly's going to come on. It was my bad. I didn't tell her because I just kind of popped on at the last minute. Lolo. All right. I have pictures of you and Cece. Oh, at HowdyCon, including a few of Jefferson Hawkins and Tony Ortega. Oh, please send them. The best way to send photographs is in the email from me, and it's torichrisman44@gmail.com, because I'd love to see them. I mean, I really like Cece, and I forget what she died of, but I know it was kind of too young for me. Was it cancer? I think it was, but I'm not sure. Hi, Tori and everyone. There's Kelly. I had a feeling you'd sneak on here. Hi, she's my moderator and my angel in disguise. She and JB808 both, and Mark Bunker. Mark Bunker is my guardian angel with Andreas Hildeland, who both of them helped me wake up and escape out. Oh, lung cancer. Yeah, that's right. She was a big smoker. Ugh. Okay, I actually had to go see a lung doctor, but I saw him like in 2019, and he said the same thing. He said, my guess is you smoked. And I said, yeah, but I quit in 74, which is like 50 years ago. And he said, okay, then you don't have to worry about it. And so I saw him again recently, and he said, yeah, if you're not having problems, we're not having problems, because it doesn't show anything, like anything big. It just shows you smoked. And I did. Protect Tori and Mark at all costs. Hey, thank you. I like that. That's a good one, JB808. K White, nothing makes sense. I know, isn't that great? That's a great nick. Nothing does make sense, does it, on this group? But I mean, you have to admit, Henri definitely made sense. That was one thing I loved about his interview. It really made sense. Everything he said. I mean, I've listened to it again because it's like really cool. And make sure you go there and subscribe to his YouTube site. You just have to send an email, and that puts you on the subscription thing. But I want to build up his subscription so he has tons. Whether he wants to or not, I don't care. But I know it'll help him, and he wants to work on social media, so that's a good thing. I'm so happy to catch a live. I've missed seeing you live. Hey, Malevolent Queen. All right. I know. I've been on kind of later, and I've had some kind of pretty much every Monday night you can count on I'll be on. But with the time depends on the people. Like if they're in another country, sometimes we've had to do it earlier, or we're going to do Phil Jones. We have to do him at, I think, 4 because he goes to bed early. So it just depends on the person. There you go. And I've got to bring on Mr. Anonymous to say hello. There he is. the man about town. And you can see, I think you can read it, that he's from Norway. Yep, there's this Norwegian cross. There you go. Yeah, Andreas got me Mr. Anonymous, and he became quite a pretty famous guy for quite a while because everybody wanted to see him. So I'd introduce him all the time. He's a great guy. I'm kind of into little stuffed animals, if you haven't noticed. Nice to see you, Tori. Focused lady. Ooh, good for you. I learned about you from Dr. Stephen Hassan. What is your opinion about John Atek blaming epilepsy for L. Ron Hubbard being abusive? That's a new one for me. I've never heard it. I'll have to listen to the video and hear it. If you could send me the link to it on ToriChristman44@gmail.com, I would appreciate it, because I don't like to make a comment about something like that. I mean, I have an instant opinion about it because I have epilepsy, and I never even heard that he had, all I ever got was, you have to get off your medicine because L. Ron Hubbard said so, but I've never heard anything about that. So I'll have to listen to it. He's blaming epilepsy for L. Ron Hubbard being abusive. I don't think he had epilepsy. He could. Thank you. I am the hippest. I agree. Thank you, Eric. I really love the interview with Henri. I learned a lot. Me too, Kelly. I did too. And I've listened to it a second time because I really, really liked it. And I made sure to go subscribe to his site because I want to keep up with him. Did you already mention the specific music, books, and movies that helped? Not yet. I'm kind of waiting. I don't want to get into the whole thing and then have everybody miss it. After Cece passed, information was found to show she knew somehow something was wrong for quite a while. She ignored the warning signs, that always happens, and didn't even tell her partner. Leftover brainwashing from Scientology. Yep, it's true. It's true. Good for you, Kelly. He said, me too. I listened to it again. You can listen to it because it was so jam-packed with facts. It's like it was a lot to take up. And I know you were moderating, so you had to listen to it again. But even for me, the same thing. I really wanted to just sit and hear it, because it's a lot of information. It really is. I really want people to, if they can, put it on their Facebook site, because it has fabulous information. And I just think it would help. He'd have more views, and it's key information that's really factual. I wasn't sure. No, you haven't missed it at all. No, we just started 13 minutes ago, and as you can see, I have my lights on behind me. Someone wrote me in my last video and complained that it's too dark, that I need more lights. And I know I do, but I've got to do some research on it and find something that works that I feel good about. So that's what I'm doing. Please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Yeah, thank you, Kelly. I want to know what makes him tick, how he's so laser sharp focused on so multiple things. I know. I thought that too. I thought, man, this guy is unbelievable. I mean, and the storage of knowledge, you know what I mean? It wasn't just that he knew it. It's that he knows it and can remember it and explain it very well, I thought. I mean, it wasn't like, like some people that are academics who really know a lot of stuff. I've listened to them and it's like, oh, dear God, get us through this, because it can be really boring. It can. And he said, oh, I'm kind of the boring flat person. And I said, no, No, like Kelly and I agreed. We love that kind of thing. And if somebody can explain it like he did, it was great. It's because it's interesting and it's factual. And he does very well at explaining it. Not too much, but just enough. Um, yeah, I'm sure, Lolo, I'm sure for people that were with her a bunch, it's always sad, but I'll tell you, that's why I named my YouTube site Tori Magoo 44 in honor of my dad. He died when I was 22 and he was 51. And even then, I kind of plugged into him as a spirit, I felt like. And I always felt like he's been around me. And I'm sure she's around you. You know what I mean? My view is like we're like radios and we have antennas. And if somebody passes away and you put your antennas up, they'll come. And I know because I've had a lot of experience with it. And people will say, oh, that's ridiculous. I don't care. I have physical, actual proof of stuff that's pretty amazing if I really told you about it. But that's what I think. And so it's kind of like you have to keep your antennas up. And I'll let you know that it's usually very short communications, at least from everyone I've heard from, which is quite a few people, more than one. So anyway, I hope you do that. Because then, and like I did, my dad is in everything. Either my YouTube site, I named that in honor of him. My email sites, his football number was 44. So I always have 44 in it somehow. Like my email is Tori Chrisman 44. So that keeps them with you all the time. It might sound crazy, but to me it's not crazy. I love it, and it just reminds me of him, and that's a good thing. So there you go. Now this is Focused Lady. I appreciate your vibe so much, Tori. I grew up near Clearwater, and a lot of doctors, lawyers, and dentists are in Scientology and subject their patients and employees to it. I know that because I was in Clearwater when David Miscavige showed up. And at the time, we were all, to quote him, you're like a bunch of hippies having a good time at summer camp or something. That's over. We're ending it. And he tore all these things off the wall that we had on the wall and a big map of where all the OT7s were. And it's pretty nasty. And he said, we're going after the doctors, dentists, chiropractors, because they have money. And so that's who we're going to go after. And you guys are going to start dressing like that. He made this one guy who audited many, many celebrities, Billy McCall. He had a long ponytail, and he made him cut his ponytail and have short hair. Excuse me. And at the time, we all thought that's stupid, because musicians liked long hair back then. I think they still do, a lot of them, but certainly back then they did. Anyway, Miscavige didn't care. He made him cut it. It was really weird. So I know they're after them because they have money. That's why. But it was really weird when they first showed up. I'll tell you something about Flat and in Tampa. Most of the people that were there were real Scientologists for a long time when I started going there. Now these doctors start showing up and physical therapists and stuff like that. And they're in what's called the ELS HGC, which is the most expensive auditing on flagged land base. And I see these two, I'm in there because my auditor was in there helping out. Not that I was on an L, but he was helping. So I'm in there just sitting in the lobby, and I hear this one guy say, well, I just bought the whole bridge, to this other guy. And the guy says, well, I just bought the whole bridge for myself and my wife. So the next day, the guy comes in and he goes, well, I just bought the whole bridge for myself and my wife and my kids. And the next day, the guy comes in and he goes, well, I just bought all of the bridge for my whole family, and I'm moving my practice to here in Clearwater. And it was just like so weird. It was like these guys trying to out money each other. It's like I'd been around my parents and their friends who had yachts and things like that. And they'd be like, well, I got a bigger yacht. And they were like, well, I just got a bigger yacht, and it just sounded the same thing, only it was Scientology. It was so weird, really weird. So I'm sure they have a ton of them there. But thank you for saying that, Focus Lady. I like your Nick too. He is a good educator, Kelly. He really is. I saw the pictures you posted today on Facebook of your mom. Isn't it a great picture of them? It's so sweet. It's such a sweet picture. If I knew how to put pictures up here, I would, but I don't. And Kelly, if you do, please do. It's because it's on my Facebook site of my mom and dad in college. It's really cute. It really is. But thank you. That's you mentioning it, Kelly. Well, do you know how to put it up here? Can we do that, or do you have to scan it or something? I can just a second. All right. She knows how to do everything. I mean, you're pretty smart yourself, Kelly. That's why she likes Henri. Me too. Not that I'm smart, but I like him. I could listen to him for hours. I told her that afterwards. I said I had to really end off because it went on for like 2 hours, and it was just so interesting, all of it. All right, so we're waiting for Kelly. Oh, I have something for you. Now, remember I said, this is my yearbook. I was in my high school yearbook, and I was in it with Hillary Clinton. We were in a special class council together. And I've mentioned it to you guys, but then I couldn't find it. So I found it. I don't know if you can see it on here because it's not scanned. But wait, let's see. I'm on the top row, 4 girls in. And she's in the middle row. She's in the middle row, why is it moving around in the middle? Anyway, that's Hillary Rodham and Tori Chrisman. And this is the funniest one because I'm awful with math. And they made me the treasurer. Here I am. Can you see me? The treasurer. And there's the security box. Sorry. Anyway, she grew up in Park Ridge with us. And I've talked to some of my high school friends, and because we moved to Lake Forest, so I kind of lost touch with them. But now I've gotten back in touch with them because of Facebook. And they travel around with her. They're still friends with her. Okay, now let's see. It's pretty upsetting. This is hi 49ers for life. It's pretty upsetting seeing Bill Clinton and Hillary hanging out with Epstein. Yeah, I think anybody hanging out with Epstein was awful. Okay, I'm sorry, Tori, but I don't have respect for Hillary anymore. No, I'm not asking you to respect her. I just think it was a funny, I'm not a fan of hers. I just thought it was funny that I was in a class council with her when we were little kids. I thought it was interesting. But you don't have to be a fan to think something's interesting. I'm ready, Kelly. Oh, there's my mom and dad. Oh, thank you. And it says on it historical document, I think. That's what it has printed across their foreheads. So that's my mom and dad in college. My she was a model and he was an All-American. They were something else. Thank you, Kelly. Now, can I save that or not? Or do you have to send that to me? That's a question. Historical image. That's right. You're welcome. Yeah. Thank you, Kelly, for doing that. I appreciate it. Your mom and dad were such a good-looking couple. I know they really were. They were really beautiful. And they were beautiful inside and out. My dad was really big on, because we grew up in a really fun, and it still is, a really great little suburb, Park Ridge of Chicago. And he was like, look, everybody on the block is going to learn every sport. And these kids would come up and they say, well, I don't know how to do basketball. Because he'd say, today we're going to learn basketball. And I'd say, well, I don't know how to do it. And he'd say, that doesn't matter. I'm going to teach you how to do it. And once you're good at it, then you can decide if you want to keep doing it or not. But until you're good at it, you can't quit. That was the deal. So everybody signed up and joined. And he taught all the kids he taught me everything. He said, I'm going to teach you everything but football. So I'm good at, I can do softball, basketball, croquet, ping pong. I'm really good at. I won a ping pong. I came in second in a ping pong contest a few years ago at my last place I was working at. And they were all 20, 30-year-olds. And they were Filipinos. And they're like, you're going to sign up? And I said, yeah, hell yeah. And I came in second. The lady who won was from China. But man, it was an intense it was a contest. I mean, my family was very competitive. So we had all kinds of games all the time around our house and kids that were there because of it. It was really fun. Okay. Thank you, 49ers for Life. I agree with that. I got it from your Facebook. So okay. So I have it already. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, someone sent it to me. It's ironic that you and Hillary went to the same school because I think Hillary kind of did go into a cult. In her case, billionaire cult. Yeah. And she's also a Republican. Well, I don't know. Is she? Maybe she's a Democrat now. No, I can't remember. I think she's now a Democrat. But my parents, I was raised a Republican. But I always say Republicans back then were more like, really, really good Democrats now. They helped the community and, they were so different than how you see now. Okay, Chicago is also a great Roy Ayers song. Okay, check it out. I'll have to. All right. I'll have to write it down or I won't remember it unless you can email it to me. Roy Ayers. I don't know him. But anyways, for the music, I'm just going to tell you, music for me, it started with, believe it or not, Dolly Parton. That was the first song I heard. I listened to it about 9,000 times. I listened to it over and over and over. And it was joy to the world. I was in the cult and everything was very serious. And I listened to her talking about joy to the world. It was the first time I could hear the word God and not just go, ugh, because Scientologists are so anti-God for the most part. I'm not saying everyone is, but most of the people I knew. And the tech itself and Hubbard and stuff like that. So, but in that song, she really talks about it. And I was like, okay. And I listened to it over and over and over. And all of a sudden, I clicked back to when I was a little kid. And my parents pushed me out on the stage. And I had like big wings. And it was like, joy to the world. And it clicked me back to before I was in the cult. And it was like the beginning thing of like, oh my God. So there was that. The Counting Crows helped me a ton. I don't know why, but there were 4 songs that they did that I listened to a million times because they to me, they fit Scientology. So there was that. I'm really bad at names of music, but anyway, there's a ton of music that's really whatever you like. It's really what you like and what the thing about music is it can get through walls, it can get through doors and windows and into your heart. Whereas people can try to talk to you, but it's just, you can easily just wall it off and you don't hear it. She was a Republican in high school and switched when she met Bill. Okay, good. Thank you. Aunt Maker. All right. And Focus Lady, I met Dolly. Wow. She was so petite and powerful simultaneously. She wrote some really opening songs. I know she did. And she isn't necessarily credited for all of those either, which I was really surprised to hear that she'd written some of these great songs that like Whitney Houston sang and stuff like that, but they were written by Dolly. So anyway, that's really cool that you met her. That's how I was with Paulette Cooper. Paulette Cooper is a little tiny person too. I mean, she's a huge being. Do you know what I mean? So I always thought she must be really big. And then I met her and she's like little tiny, tiny person, but fun. Oh, she is fun. She's really great. So anyway, I got to meet her. But I know what you mean about petite and powerful. That's exactly how Paulette Cooper was. If you really want to check out a cool band, that's a blast from the past. Check out Postmodern Jukebox. Okay. What they do is take modern songs and rewrite them to oldies melodies like doo-wop and Motown. All right, that's cool. That's fun. I'll have to write it down. Postmodern jukebox. That's what it's called. Postmodern jukebox. Okay, that's good. I'll check it out. And I also grew up with big band music because my parents played that and danced around all the time, and I love that too. Dolly's another national treasure for sure. Let me see. I kept it on my phone because I knew I'd forget it, and I did. But, oh, here he is. Here it is. I love this guy. Coldplay, Fix You. I love that song. It's so great. So great. That was one thing with my husband and I, my ex-husband now, but he was like super great at remembering all kinds of trivia. Who made it, the writer, the date it came out, the name of the album, all that stuff. And I could sing all the lyrics for most of the songs that we loved. He could some, but he was really good at all the little things that I couldn't remember at all. Yeah, it was great to have a chat with Paulette. She's just a really very, very cool person. I asked her once to come on with Bunker, but she said she had nothing new to say. I'll call her because, it's like we don't need anything new to say. They don't have to say anything new. You know how we are. We're a good group of people. I mean, I think people think you have to really, come on, like Henri kind of had all this information. And that's one way of doing it. But a lot of people don't have that. I mean, that's fine. We still have a good time talking with them. And she would be for sure. It would be fun, even if it's the same thing. I've said stuff over and over and over a billion times. But, people always write me and say, hey, I really want to thank you for saying that because I hadn't heard that. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So that's good. Now, Aunt Mager, oh, that got big band and jazz too. They got big band and jazz too. Yeah. YouTube watcher, hi. What a nice surprise. Happy Wednesday night, Tori. That's what I wanted to do, is surprise you guys. That's what I thought. I thought, you look all goofy and, I didn't really have a topic. And then I was listening to music myself and I thought, I should really tell these guys about how much music, books, and movies have affected my life. You hear me mention The Truman Show a million times. That's because I was watching it over and over and over while I was in the cult. And it was part of my waking up, was watching that Truman Show and going, I don't think I pieced it together that this is just like Scientology, but subconsciously, I think it was hitting home. It was. Wait a second. I'm missing some people. Happy Wednesday, JB808. Thank you. You call her. maybe she will. Yeah, I will. Hello, Tori, and all love from Culver City. Hey, Eric, happy belated birthday for everybody. He had a birthday yesterday. So my parents say hi. My 39th birthday yesterday was amazing. I relaxed and rested in bed. That's always good. It's like whatever feels good is what you should do on your birthday, I think. I really do. So good for you. Okay. And Tori Kelly, I believe Bunker said he would record a video with Tori once a month. Yeah, I believe we are already 2 months behind. Please say you're going to have a video soon. You are great together. I'm good on it. I know and I respect this for Bunky. He's getting ready to run for a city commissioner. And so I'll ask him, and if he will, and once that's done, then we can go back to for sure once a month. But if he's busy, I don't want to overpower him with stuff because I know him. It's a lot of work for him because he does a lot more stuff than I do because he has all kinds of past stuff that he has, and he helps show that to people. He's very good at what he does. I mean, he won an Emmy for editing. I have nothing for editing. I don't even know how to edit, but he won an Emmy for it. So I went down and watched him get it. It was really fun. When he was in San Diego. Yeah, happy belated birthday, Eric. That is good. Not going to happen anytime soon. YouTube. Okay. Is that for YouTube Watcher? It's not going to happen anytime soon. Oh, for Bunky? Yeah. Yeah, probably not because of what he's doing. He's busy. We're kind of going with his schedule. So if he's good with it, we'll do it. But if he's not good with it, we're not going to push it. Even though we said that, but this came up where he's running, and that's going to be a big thing. That he'll probably come on here for that, to talk about that. But I know he's working on it right now. I asked him last night because he was at Aaron's thing at the trial, and I said, "Did you go to the party afterwards?" I talked to him today, and he said, "No." He said, "I went home and went to bed." So, he's got his stuff that he's doing. Hey, Connie. Thanks for coming by, all of you. My parents got me a complete series of The Sopranos. Oh, how cool, on DVD. I love that show. One of my favorites. Good for your parents. Tell them we said thank you. That's really nice of them. It's very thoughtful. All right. I'll vote for Bunker. I know, me too. I wish we could. You have to be in his state, I think. I don't know. Well, we'll have to find out all the rules. There's all kinds of rules on the whole thing. But I know we can chip in money, but only after he's picked as the contestant or something. Is Bunky officially running? He's not officially running yet. They have to pick him, but he's getting there. That's why I said he's busy doing his thing right now. And Manker, I think at some point Mark should run for Congress. We sorely need a cult expert. That's such a good point. Because see, he's wanted to be the mayor of Clearwater, but I think you're right. Congress would be way better for him. That is a good idea. Thank you. I'm going to mention it to him. And you should write it to him too. He's on Facebook, so you can just type in Mark Bunker and send him. Because I think the more people that suggest it, I'm always suggesting stuff like that. But he's like, oh, it's just Tori again. It's like, okay, Magoo, I'll talk to you later. That's what he always says. Okay. Wouldn't that be great? That would be really great. I hope you write to him. You will. And I'll talk to him too. Hi, Jamie. Hey, Jamie Castro. All right. Welcome. Tori and I will be conspiring after this. It's true. He's in Florida, so I can vote for him. Oh, wonderful. Well, that'll be nice. We should all move to Florida to vote for him. Nah, I'm just kidding. You couldn't get me to move to Florida for anything. No, he can't. He won't win. He can't what? You have to use the whole sentence when you do that with me, because otherwise I don't know what you're talking about. So, Jamie, what can he do? And he won't win. Kelly said the same thing. He can't what, Jamie? Yeah, tell us what you're saying he can't do. He can't run for Congress. Why not? Oh, because you have to be something higher up before you run for Congress, or what? I don't think so. I mean, look at DT. He's our president, and he didn't do all the levels. He didn't do stuff ahead of time, and he's the president of the United States. So Bunker could actually run for president of the United States. I bet you he'd win too. Wouldn't that be a riot? Oh my God. I grew up reading Mad Magazine. Yeah, I think a bunch of us did. And watching the Match Game. Yeah, it burns out the writer on both of those in the same guy, Dick DiBartolo. Okay. One nice thing you can do is look it up on YouTube. And they've got a lot of those things, Mad Magazine, and they've got the Match Game and stuff like that. Run for Congress. All right. He's not popular enough. I don't know. He's not popular enough. Yeah, that might be true. He's not known enough. I think he's popular with everybody that knows him, but he's not known enough. That's what I think you mean. And Tori, any book recommendations? Okay, so books. I've said mainly the books that have helped me a ton, which started with You Can Change Your Life by Louise Hay. And that was the one with the gay guys who came. This was back in I think the early 80s. And they were all dying of AIDS. And that was just it. If you got AIDS, you were dying. And so we were being abused by porn. Oh, by Pam Bondi, yeah. He mentioned her last night, Monday night. Anyway, to finish what I was saying, so I don't get distracted and then I forget what I was saying. Okay, so You Can Heal Your Life. The gay guys came on TV and they said, all of our friends have died. We got this book, You Can Heal Your Life. We started applying it, and here we are. We're alive. And I thought, I was in the cult, way in the cult. This was the early 50s. I mean, the early 80s. And I thought, wait a minute, if this can work for these guys, maybe it'll help me, right? Because I had big, massive migraine headaches, and Scientology wasn't helping it at all. And so I got the book, and it didn't help my headaches at all, but it did help me in starting waking up. I never really got through the whole thing, but I realized books are a whole nother avenue for waking up. So I started going to bookstores, and this is back when bookstores were really jumping, and I'd check out. Nothing against Scientology. I didn't want to get in trouble or anything. So I'd look for philosophy, religions, just self-improvement, all kinds of things like that. And I'd open it up. If I liked it, boom, I bought it. And I'd bring it home, and my husband would laugh at me and say, is that more of your secret library? And I'd say, yeah, it is. And I didn't care. He didn't want to have anything to do with it. And it's like, okay, I'm not going to push it on you. But man, did it help me. It really did. So then I bought Blink, which is about your first instincts. That's a really good book. I don't know. I've bought a ton of self-improvement books that are really, different things on mind control and stuff like that. It's all very, very helpful. So I highly recommend it. We need a cult expert. Yeah, the other one is Steve Hassan. I wasn't reading his books when I was in the cult, but now that I'm out, I always recommend him to people because he really does explain, like, how did Trump get into office and stay in office? And he really explains how mind control works and what he's doing. It's pretty surprising. It's called The Cult of Trump. It's really good. Enjoying Tori's channel. Okay, become a member. Yeah, that's good. Link to subscribe, gift, or sign up for a membership. That's true. All right, now, thank you, Kelly. And is it Aunt Mager? I'm not sure how to say that word. Aunt Mager? Am I saying it right? Aunt Mager? Okay. Thing is, we need a cult expert in the House of Representatives because it feels like the Democrats are still acting like they're dealing with a normal political party. Yeah, I hear that. I do. And, well, you could run for that too. Louise Hay was genius. Yeah. Thank you. You're the first person who's known who she was. Well, actually, some other people have, but a lot of people don't know who she is. And that's why I mention her because I really love her books. And trying to think of some other ones. I have so many. I have like literally books and books and books. I met Ray Bradbury. That was fun. He's a fiction writer, but it was really fun to meet him because it was he, his buddy, who was a writer with him, and the guy who made movies that inspired both of them to write. And my friend Greg and I went, Great Scott. My friend Greg and I went to see him in Glendale, and it was awesome. And they knew Hubbard. They both laughed about it and said, yeah, he was kind of a jerk, but he was a writer, that's for sure. Let's see. Dr. Stephen Hassan said Pam B was raised in a cult. Makes sense. Thank you for acknowledging my scarf. It's actually a really pretty scarf. See, it has, these things are on the bottom, which I love. And the interesting thing is 2 different people sent me the same scarf, different designs that I met on the internet. I had never met them in person. It was really, really surprising. Okay, now is it Aunt Mager? I'm still, can you write out how to say it? Aunt, and then, Major. Okay, Aunt Major, except spelt with a G. Okay, it's because I majored in anthropology. And those were the first 3 letters you used in the abbreviation when you filed for courses. Now that's smart. So Aunt Mager, well, thank you for explaining that. See, that makes it very easy, and I'll never forget it now. Aunt Mager. Or is it Aunt Major? I should say Aunt Major, right? Aunt Major. Because it's your anthropology major, yeah. That's nice. That's good. Did you finish as are you an anthropologist for real? Okay, now YouTube watcher says, Kelly, I'm not sure if it's appropriate to recommend an interview. I think it would be great to have Tori and Scooter Mom in Canada talk. She promotes many of the smaller channels. Okay, that'd be good. Kelly, write that down. Scooter Mom. I don't know who she is, but that's good. I think they would have a good conversation. Well, that's good. And Kelly says, sure, it's absolutely appropriate to recommend people you'd like to see on. Yeah, so that's a good idea. It is. She's on my list already. All right, Kelly's ahead of it. I'm telling you, you're a happening person. I'm impressed with you. Every time I talk to her, she's always got something going. And her dogs. I wish I could have dogs. I really do. I rent a house, so I can't have dogs, but I do wish I could because I miss having animals. And my last cat died, and I couldn't take it. I was so sad. It was just such a bummer for me. So it's just I thought, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it. Because also you know, I didn't want to go through it again. I'd been through 3 different cats that I dearly loved, and each one of them we had to put down. And it was like, I don't want to do it. I don't. So there you go. So I'm animalist, which I miss, but I go over and hang with Spanky's dog, Beto. All right. Aloha, I think is clapping. Is that right, Kelly? All right. I want to do an update interview with me and you, Eric, and talk about my journey with high functioning autism. We can set it up. Yep, we've got quite a few things set up for a while, Eric, but maybe in the summer, because we've already got I think pretty much most of the year set up. But we'll get to it. It's hard to lose our furry friends. They are members of our family. It's so true. I mean, I always say to people, I think it's almost harder to lose like a cat or a dog that you've had with you for a long time than it is a friend or a family member. Because friends and family, they're going to pass away. It's just sort of like that's part of the program. That it's going to happen. Whereas, I don't know, somehow cats and dogs, it just seems like they're never going to. And then when they do, it's like, hey, that's not fair. I lost my Enzo 4 years ago, and I still have a hard time talking about it. Oh, Enzo was his name? Wow. Interesting. I know, it's hard. It is. It really is. Yeah, we had inherited this cat from next door named Elvis. And the lady said, look, I've got to move. Can you and John just keep Elvis? And John was renting a room here and was a big gardener. So if you ever want to see our backyard when it looked fabulous, go to Facebook and type in John Dries, Dries. And you can see in his photographs, all of the pictures of our backyard and all that stuff he grew. It was just amazing. It was back in around 2020, and we decided, if things get worse, we can just grow our own food. And man, he went to town. It was really fun. And he's a builder, so you see some of the stuff that he built. And he taught himself. He became a carpenter doing that. But anyway, she asked if John and I would watch Elvis. And I said, he's here all the time anyway, so sure. And, he was always like, I'd come home at night and he'd always be there. And I'd be like, hey, Elvis. And it turned out when he passed away, I mean, it was an entire block grief party. Everybody was so sad about Elvis. My neighbor had to move. He was so sad. He burst out crying. He said, he comes here every night and I put my head on him. And now he's going to be gone. And he was just like, it was really unbelievable how much this little cat had just kind of communicated with everybody around the block. He had friends all over the place. People come, they were like, oh, we heard Elvis passed away. And it's like, yeah, I know. I mean, it was really something. It really was. Yeah, you still have Sam. That's good. That's good. So JB808 asked, is Enzo your profile picture? And you said yes. Okay. All right. Kelly's the best dog mom. Yeah. Her dog eats better than me. I know. That's how Beto is too. Man, I always say, man, it's so different than when I was a little kid. I had a dog in Park Ridge where I was with Hillary Clinton in that town. And I mean, our dogs just ate dog food and they put out a little thing of hard food and water. That was it. These dogs are so pampered. I just can't believe how people take care of their dogs now compared to then. I mean, Beto gets groomed every month. You know, the groomer comes and he's got a drive-up van and he takes them out there and fluffs them all up and washes them. And it's kind of amazing. But a lot of people, I know their dogs, they really take care of them. And it's not that we didn't take care of our dogs, but it was just like they were dogs. You know what I mean? So it was sort of like they'll get along. You know, they'll work it out. Loving the chat and talk with pets and on video chatting up. Oh, that's nice. Well, if you have a pet, mention it. Pets are the best. Unconditioned. Yeah, they're unconditional love. That's very, very true. So now we've done music, books, and the other one was movies. Like for me, I loved Tom Cruise's old movies. I don't necessarily like the action ones or anything, but I loved A Few Good Men. Was he in that? A Few Good Men? I think he was. And he was in The Firm, which I watched over and over. And I thought, how can this guy be in The Firm and not have some kind of epiphany or wake-up call about what he's in? Because it really is exactly like Scientology. It's very frightening. I saw a meme on Facebook that said, having a dog is 99% following each other around, wondering what the other has in their mouth. That is the best. That is so funny, Kelly. And very true. It really is. Hey, Power. Power lies to paralyze. Yeah, hey, welcome. Thanks for coming by. It's always good to see you too, all of you. Okay, now, and Power lies to paralyze. If you missed Monday night's interview, please take time. And any of you who are on here, if you missed Monday night's interview with Henri, take time to listen to it because he goes through in detail some amazing different things. Some of them are about the city of LA, but also it's about Stacy Moxon and what actually happened versus what is said that happened. And she's dead. So she was Moxon, the attorney's daughter. And he goes into great detail on that. And Hubbard and his death certificate and what really happened there. There's some really good factual information. So if you haven't seen that interview, please do. And also, please subscribe to him. I want more people to subscribe to him so he's got a bigger following. Sorry to hear Focus. Now, what happened with Focus? I missed that. Okay, my dog has cancer. She is staying comfy, but it's difficult to see her go through the process. I know it is. I've gone through a few with people with dogs with cancer, and it's very difficult. It is. But bless your heart for taking care of her. And you'll always have her in your heart. You just have to remember that. So, I'm sorry, Focus. That's sad, but she is well loved, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's a sad one. How long have you had her, Focus? Sorry to hear that. Focused. Okay, so sorry to hear that Focused. Love both of you. Aww. Yes, I'm a night owl. Are you talking to me? It says TM. I don't know if that means to me or if you're talking to someone else, but I'm definitely a night owl. That's contrast. Why? You said TM. I don't know what that is. That sounds like it's initials for someone else you're asking about. Okay, and Jennifer Roseby, 8761. All right. My two dogs are Diesel and Harley. Quinn. All right. Love them. Love that Henri interview. Oh, good. I'm glad you heard it. Watched most of it. Good. Yeah. Hi, Jennifer. And contrast, yes, Tori Magoo. All right, so TM stands for what? TM. Too much? Yes, she is a night owl. She does nightly night stuff. Kelly, who is she? Who's the TM person? And you guys tell me what movies you all have seen that you like. Oh, Tori Magoo. Oh, Tori Magoo. Oh, okay. I never put it that way. TM. All right. There you go. Thank you. Hi, Sieglin. I never thought of it that way. And you know what my real initials are? TLC for Tori Lee Chrisman, or Tender Loving Care. Hey, Sieglin. She is 15 years old. Ooh, and a great dog. Thank you, Tori, and everyone. Well, that's a long time to live for a dog, isn't it? 15 years. So that's good that she's still rolling along and you're taking care of her. Good for you. And she'll be in your heart forever. Here's my heart that see? Hearts of Oak, in honor of my grandfather, Hearts of Oak. And I don't know why I went blank on it. Kelly, who was it that gave me that? I just went blank on who it was. And I know her name really well, but I just went like, Aunt Major. There you go. Presently, I'm obsessed with movies from the 80s. Me too. Really enjoyed an indie called Shirley Valentine. Okay. Such a great story of self-discovery. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. Or T-Boz, Left Eye, Chili. TLC is also a popular 90s muse group. Well, there you go. That's me. Hi. Antics of a Mama Squirrel. Hi. Thanks for all the questions the other night. That was great. You and Blow Drill were both doing really good on those questions. That helped. Prefer old movies. I watched Seven Sinners on YouTube. Tubi has lots of great stuff. Yeah, I love old movies too, and I love what's the one with the two guys that dress up as girls? I love that one, and it comes out a bunch here. I don't know why. Great interactions. I loved it. Yeah, JB had good questions too. He did. Yeah, JB 808, but and so did Kelly. Yeah, everybody that asked questions were really good. TLC Waterfalls. I don't know that one. That's new. Is that like a painting or something? Waterfalls? Or a mute song? Some like it hot. Thank you. I love that when people remember. Thank you. Mama Squirrel, you're good at that, at remembering stuff that I forget. Thank you. Yeah, that's right. It was Some Like It Hot. I love that movie. It's so funny, and I never get tired of it. It's just so funny. Okay, filmed here in San Diego. Wow. Yeah, so was Top Gun. I went and saw the actual bar that Top Gun was in that they filmed. Bunker took me there. And it was really weird. They had all these bras hanging all over the place. It was really strange. I said, "What's the deal?" And the guy said, we give them a free drink if they give us a bra. Okay. I'm not going to do it, but good luck. I didn't know that, though. The other one was filmed. Some Like a Hot was filmed there. One Bottle After Another is a good movie, but weird, twisted, and slightly politically topical. But it's Paul Thomas Anderson, and he does weird subject movies. Yeah, true. Good. Thanks, Jay. Oh, it's a song. Okay. It's a song. All right. Hi, Mark. John Travolta is my neighbor. Well, that's fun. Why don't you go over and talk to him? He flies his plane in tropical storms over my neighborhood and uses the wind to his advantage. Greetings from Ocala, Florida. Wow. I wish I was there because I helped train Travolta, and he came up and gave me a hug twice since I've been out. And I would go over and talk to him. I would. I really would. I would love to see him. And I think he would love to talk to some people that are out. I do. Eric, okay. Kelly she hid your message by mistake, Eric, so don't be offended. That happens on the internet, as you know. Waterfalls is a song. TLC is a band. Oh, okay, all right. I had a boss who was in Top Gun. Wow, really? What did they play in Top Gun? That's interesting. The sleazy bar. Yeah, I know. It was funny. I loved that playing the piano, the guy that played the piano. That was so great. I didn't want to hear the answer about Shrimp Guy. Does he still show up in the council meetings? Yeah, I was kind of curious about that too, but I wasn't sure if it was something appropriate for the internet or not. I don't really know the guy and I don't know anything about him. So if somebody knows, maybe send it to Kelly and we can talk to her later and hear about it. Unless it's no big deal. I don't know. I don't really know the guy. Catching Alive. I know. Good for you. Larry Watkins. All right. You're not related to Gary Watkins, are you? Great 80s music. They live. They live. Okay. Girls I met. Okay. Yeah. Some Like It Hot was filmed in the. Wow, really? At the Hotel del Coronado? I've been to that, to the outside of it. Wow, that's cool to know. I'm going to go snoop around there. You're welcome. Thank you. Hey, Valerie. Nathan Lane in the Birdcage. Oh yeah, that's all time. That's another great one. I mean, you could name many movies, and I've probably seen them and love them. But the Birdcage is another one of my favorites, where it just was so awesome, and those parents were just a riot. Oh, that mother, it's like, oh, how nice. They have Nancy Drew, the whole set. Isn't that nice? Just like, oh, God. Oh, and you know what's coming. That was great. Thank you for mentioning that, Aunt Major. We're getting there. Antics of a Mama Squirrel. Aloha has been Mia the last couple of weeks. Missing in action? You mean JB808? I didn't notice that he'd been missing. Saturday Night Fever is a great film. Yep. Well, where were you, JB808? You didn't do a CSW to get out of here. CSW is a thing where you had to write it up, the situation. CST. I forget what it was, but you had to write it up. It was the situation, data, and the information and the solution. So it's like if you wanted to route out, you had to write up the situation, why you're leaving, all the information on it, where you're going, when you're coming back, the dates, all this stuff, why you're doing it. And then the solution is that they okay you to leave. And then it's either signed and they agree and you go, woo, I'm out, or they don't sign it, which just happens a lot of times. And then you're screwed. So you didn't do a CSW, JV808. I didn't know you were gone. I thought it seemed like you popped in and out. Maybe I'm wrong. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the river and the lakes that you're used to. All right, there you go. That sounds good. Good piece of information. And I believe we as people are like rivers. So as long as you keep moving, you're okay. It's when you are in a stagnant water, that's when you get in trouble. And it's really kind of true. It is. All right. Has not been recently. Okay. While clicks was are you upset with us at all? JB808, are you okay? Is everything okay with you? I'm sorry if it isn't. You have to, but part of that is you have to let me know. White Chicks was a movie with the Wayans brothers. They dressed up as girls in the movie. Good. Okay, and here's Antics. No, I was meaning Shrimp Guy has been missing in action. Okay, at the meetings for the last 2 weeks. Okay, good. Because I thought JB808 has been here. So I was kind of like, what are we talking about here? Okay, I don't know who this shrimp guy is at all. So can we get the rest of the story? Do we know what it is? They're talking about shrimp guy being missing in action, but does anybody care that he's missing in action? Completed staff work. Thank you, Siegel. I knew you would come up with it. Yeah, that's right. Complete CSW, completed staff work. That's right. But you know what? They made us do CSWs too, and we weren't on staff. So we were public on OT7, but you had to do a CSW to get off. And man, they almost never okayed it. One lady, Sieglin, you'll love this. She lost her OT7 materials in a New York train station. And I'm telling you, they locked her, and her parents ran Columbia. And to the point where I took her out to lunch because she was a young girl. And she'd always be sitting over in the corner reading these kind of love novels and stuff. And I said to somebody, who is that person? And everybody said, nobody knows. And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to take her out to lunch. And so I said, do you want to go to lunch? And she said, yeah, sure. So we went to lunch, and these guys came with her, these bodyguards. And I said, what's the deal here? And so she explained that she'd lost her materials in the New York harbor, and wherever she goes, because her parents had been blackmailed, where, they had to give her a certain amount of money or they wouldn't give the person back. So she said, everywhere I go, I have bodyguards that come with me. And I was like, wow. So we eat and we talk, and I really liked her. And then she gets a call from her dad or her mom saying, look, we're having a family reunion. There's no way you're out of this, because she'd already gone through things with Scientology trying to get out. And I was like, no, they won't let her off the base because she hadn't come back. She brought back the OT7 materials, but because she'd lost them, she lost their trust. And so she was in a lower condition. So the mom said, look, this is our family reunion, so you are coming. So I don't know what you have to do, but you're coming, and we're going to be there with our yacht. We're going to pick you up. And so I thought, oh, dear God. So she goes through the right lines, and they say, okay. They okay it. I said, look, just say it's a family reunion, because usually they do okay that kind of thing, because it's really out PR, public relations, to not okay it. And it really takes off the family. So I said, just point it out that way. So she did, and they said, okay. And all of a sudden we're like on the whatever floor it was, the OT3 was, or OT7 was on, and we hear these heels coming down the hallway. And I think, oh God, it's them. And they drag her into a room, and you hear her just screaming her lungs out. And this is like a 19, 20-year-old girl, but man, she could scream. And she was pissed. And anyway, we worked it out. We finally got her to go to the reunion, but it was bad. It was intense for a while. That's Scientology. But the CSW didn't work for her. All right, so Laura Anderson. Hi, Laura. Hi. Laura Anderson Official. That's Laura FM for anybody who doesn't know. And I think everybody does, but in case you don't, good to have you in the house, young lady. How are you doing? Okay, so Aunt Major says really good suspense film, excuse me, is Malice with Nicole Kidman and Alec Baldwin. It's best to go into it knowing nothing. You will never see the twist coming and a scene-stealing cameo from Anne Bancroft. Wow, that sounds really good. Now, where is that showing? Where can I see that? Because I know it's not in the theaters. Do you know where it is, Aunt Major? Where did you see it? Wait, oh, I just lost the name. Malice. Okay. And yeah, if you could just post where I can see that, that would be good. All right. Now, Kelly says, Tori, they were talking about Shrimp Guy being missing. Okay, yeah, I'm good. I'm glad to hear that. I really am. Because I thought, am I going crazy? It seemed like he was here. K White _ nothing makes sense. I just caught one battle after another on HBO, I think. And I liked it. I like weird movies. I then saw another weird dark comedy, 2024, with Pedro Pascal. Don't remember the name. Well, you could Google that. They'll know the name. Just put in the information you said there and they'll know it. I actually, at the last, I think it was the baseball. Yeah, it was the baseball, final thing. And this one guy was up to bat and he kept writing things in the sand. And I thought, what is he writing? And this was live, it was happening live. And he's writing in the sand. And I asked Mrs. Google, I said, all right, what is the guy in the World Series writing in the sand? And she said, go with God, or something like that. It was something about God. I said, wow, that's amazing. You can ask her anything. Okay. Okay. All right. So Antic says, Aloha has asked. So I was just answering, but yeah, the most info we have is from Henri, told us in your interview. But I guess I'll write to Henri because he sounded like he knew more, but he didn't feel like he should say it for some reason. I liked it too. Okay. HIPAA non-existent in Scientology. Sieglin says LOL. I forget what HIPAA is. What is HIPAA? Is that for the disabled? Racket, LOL. Okay. If you do a Google search, you can probably find it for rent. I own it on DVD. Oh, okay. That helps. That really helps. I know this is unpopular opinion. This is 49ers for Life. But I think both Democrats and Republicans turned into cults. I agree. Yeah. I had a good friend who became so woke that he started to accuse everyone of being racist and acting odd. Yeah, I know the whole thing's gone. It's really downhill. It really is. We've got to pull our country back together and get the people back together somehow. I don't really know how. I don't, but I know we have to do it. Malice is on Apple TV. Okay. Oh, and Prime. I have Prime. I do. Okay, so I can look at it on Prime. All right, good. Thank you. Who was that? Kelly, of course, the queen of information. All right, good. Well, that sounds good. Well, anyway, all of those are good shows, and there's a skillion other ones. It's just sort of like my main point is to just say that I think music, books, and movies can all help. They can get to your mind and your heart when somebody talking to you can't. You know what I mean? Because you're just watching a movie. I mean, I had guys from Jehovah's Witnesses, to give you an example, and I always used to start out my videos with these real corny, this is Mr. Anonymous and he's from Norway and, whatever. I had different people that, different little guys and stuff like that. And I would make it really corny intentionally, because back when I left in 2000, it was like Arnie and Larry Wallersheim and different people, and they were very, very serious, and you had to find out about how bad this cult is. And I just thought, you know what? It's too much. People aren't going to watch it. So I started my thing with Mr. Anonymous, and it went like people really liked it. So now these guys from the Jehovah's Witnesses wrote me, and they said, we were watching your videos and laughing at you. And then one of my friends said, we actually do the same thing on the Jehovah's Witnesses. And they all three left, and they're free. And they said, that's because, it started with your videos, because they're light enough. The old ones were light enough that they were just kind of goofy enough that people could go, okay. I mean, now people kind of know Scientology is a cult, so it's not as how it was before. But in 2000, people were really like, you have to respect their religion. And I was like, I do respect their religion, but I don't respect their abuse, and I don't have to respect their abuse. And that's what I'm here for. You know what I mean? And we have conversations. But like Jesse Prince said, you're the first person who got off a plane and all the kids said, how could you be in something for 30 years and not get it? And you just looked at them and said, have you ever seen the Truman Show? And they all, just went, oh my God, and got it. And Jesse said, we've been talking to these kids for hours and days and weeks trying to explain to them why we protest. And you get off a plane and in a couple of sentences, they all get it. So that's why I use it all the time, because for the younger people who see that movie, they get it. And even people who are older who watch it see it, and they get it too. Now let's see. Kelly said, I got a random letter in the mail today from the JWs. They don't even come to the door anymore. Wow, that's new. I don't think they do here either, but they don't send letters. Okay, now wait a second. From Andreas. I got to go back here a little bit. Yeah, both sides of the political forum can be extremely cult-like. Very true. And Anonymous, yeah. From Andreas. All right, he's a star. Andrea, if it's on my Andreas Helderlin, he is a star. 49ers for life. Not all are crazy Democrats. Unfortunately, we only hear about the crazy fringes on both sides. Both parties have changed. Yeah, they really have. They really, really have. The whole country has. I got a random letter in the mail today from the JW. That's really weird, Kelly. That is. My dad used to score the JW away. Oh, he'd scare him away? That's good. I'll tell you a favorite scare story away. This kid I helped get out. Two kids on one weekend. One of them called and said, look, I'm leaving Scientology, but I have to go back and get my stuff. And I said, no, don't go back and get your stuff. And he said, well, what can I do? My dad hasn't talked to me in 10 years, and I don't know what to do. And I said, how old are you? And he said, I'm 21. And I said, okay, this is a wonderful country. And my recommendation to you is start walking, because you can walk and walk and walk, and you will find someone who will help you, or you will remember someone to call and help you. But it'll come back to you. But get away from there. Don't go back. Don't get anything. Just get away. So he did, and he called me about, I don't know, a half a week later saying, I'm on my way. You know, it was really great. So that was good. And he did remember someone, and they came and helped him. And then the same weekend, another guy said, I want to leave. I got to go get my stuff, and then I'm leaving. And I said, no, don't get your stuff, because you will never get out. And I said, who do you know who you can call? And he said, well, I could call my dad, and he might know someone. And I said, all right, call your dad. So he called his dad, and his dad was like in the South or something. But he called a guy in Clearwater, and he said, look, my son is escaping out of a cult, and he needs somewhere to go that's safe. The guy said, sure, send him over. So the kid goes over to his house, and Scientology, being the stupid morons that they are, sends some SEAL guys after him to capture him, right? And the guy opens the door with a shotgun, cocks it, and he says, you want to come farther, or you want to stay right there? Because you're not coming into my house. And they let him go, and that was it. But I love that story. Both of those stories, I'd forgotten about both of them. They were years ago. It was really cool. But that's cool that your dad scared away the JWs. Hey, Bridge. We're on an island, so maybe too much trouble? Too much trouble for what, Kelly? Art imitates life and vice versa. True, very true. Okay, Kelly says, when I was 10 years old, I saw my very petite mother, chase JWs up the road with a rake in her hand. Wow. Boy, did they like their way skirts and run. Good for your mom. That is so great. See, I love that kind of stuff. I was saying Anonymous was from Andreas, and that a moose is a star. He's from Andreas? Is it really called Andreas? I've never heard of Andreas, so that's why I'm like, I didn't know that. I thought he was from Anonymous. Oh, you're talking about my Anonymous. I was thinking of 49ers for Life, and I thought he was from Cincinnati or something. This Anonymous, yeah, Andreas gave him to me. You're right, and he's from Norway. Yeah, he's Norwegian. Yeah, and he is a star. That's right. Thank you for explaining that, Mama Squirrel. I was like, what? Okay, I get it. Yeah, he's a popular guy. He is. The JWs don't come in my. I bet. I don't think they've come by my house in years either. I go into detail about the child crimes they covered up. Yeah, I did that a couple of times with them, and they never come back. I talked to them about just cults in general, and I didn't know that much about the JWs, but I knew enough to know that they were brainwashed, and they couldn't really look at both sides. I said, if you can't look at both sides, you're in a cult. That's all there is to it. I left in the middle of the night with whatever I could fit in my friend's car. Wow, way to go, JR 2912. Cool. That's a great story. That is. Do you want to do an interview with us and tell your story? Because that might be cool. Kelly, if you want, check them out and see. See, I always think people are guys. It might be a girl. I don't know. Antics of a Mama Squirrel. Now, that I think is a girl. No, you said Andreas gave you Anonymous. And who am I? And who is this about? Don't confuse me. Who are you talking about? No, wait. It is Anonymous. That's what we're talking about. Antics of a Mama Squirrel said, I was saying Anonymous was from Andreas and that a moose is a star. Yeah. And that's correct. No, you said Andreas gave. Well, Andreas did give me Anonymous, but that doesn't mean he's not a star. Did I say somebody else gave it to me? No, I said he's from Norway. That's what I said. I've always acknowledged that Andreas gave him to me because he did. Okay, please reach out if you'd like to come have a chat with Tori. KellyBCMod, at gmail.com. Cool. Yeah. If you want to at all. And you know what? A lot of people think, oh, I don't have much to say. But you know what? Everybody does. It's like we'll have fun one way or the other. Antics of a Mama Squirrel. It says PM. Okay. I guess it's just got your time. Oh, no, here it is. I'm a girl. Yeah, I know it. I know you're a girl. I'm just teasing you. As far as I can't tell if she's a girl or a guy. It's your name is Antics of a Mama Squirrel. But I have had guys. One of my son's best friends, who unfortunately took his unalived himself. But when he was still alive, and the internet was very new, and he was a young guy who was on the internet, and he was like typing away and typing away and typing away. And his mom said, come on, James, we got to go. And so then he goes, okay, I got to admit it to everybody. I'm really a guy. I'm not a girl. So he'd been pretending he was a girl with all these quote unquote girls. And it turned out everybody in the group were all guys pretending to be girls. You just think, oh my God. So yeah, I do. Oh no, I'm too introverted to speak in public. Oh, boo. You don't have to speak in public. You're going to speak on the internet. You're going to be home in the comfort of your home. Apparently, the JWs brainwashed Prince, the brilliant musician, via the great musician Larry Graham. Yeah, that was a mess. It was that, and also, well, there's so many musicians who got screwed over. It's a shame. I think Antics was just paying homage to Andreas and Anonymous, saying, your doll was a star, my bear. I never had dolls in my whole life. I've always had little stuffed animals. That's why. Because when I was a young kid, I got these little bears and stuffed animals. And then my brothers would come in and say, okay, you have to mow the lawn today, Tori. I'd say, I'm not mowing the lawn. And they'd say, look, if you don't mow the lawn, we're going to beat up your dogs. And I'd say, no, don't beat up my dogs. And they'd say, okay, then agree that you're going to mow the lawn. And we had a big lawn. We lived on a corner lot. So it was like a big lawn. And so then, and I had a Dalmatian that you could unzip, and it had little babies inside of it. So if I didn't agree with it, they'd go, we're going after the babies. And I'd be like, no. And so then I'd end up mowing the lawn, which I actually liked. I liked mowing the lawn. It wasn't a problem for me. I think, yeah. Introverts unite. I'm introverted too. It's like that's not an excuse to not do an interview. I stand corrected, Bear. Thank you, JV808. Thank you very much. Now, if you saw how many bears I have, you wouldn't believe it. But this is the big fan. And this is another cool one that there was a Sea Org lady. Well, she was a Sea Org guy who turned into a lady. And I was on the internet with them, and they said, this is like Henry or something. And then they said, no, really, she's now Sarah or something. I forget what her names were. And somebody took me in a private room. I said, what the hell's going on? And they said, she's changed sexes. She was a male, she was a guy, and now she's turning into a female. And so she and I became really good friends. And she wanted to go to a quote unquote SP party and announce it there. And she said, Tori, I don't want it to be a big deal. I really don't. And I said, okay, listen to me carefully. If you don't want it to be a big deal, do not announce it at an SP party. That is all everybody will be talking about. So go onto xscientology.net and announce it there, and then you can really tell your whole story. And it worked out fantastically. I mean, everybody loved her story, loved her. And then by the time she went to the SP party, it was great because everybody loved her. It wasn't like, did you hear that so-and-so was this and that, that kind of thing. So anyway, that was cool. We had dinner in the same booth as you had with Tony Ortega. I remember that at the Black Angus. Wait, what? Did Tori just say she's introverted? I am. I'm an introvert extrovert. I'm like both. I'm extroverted, obviously, but I'm also introverted. It's like if you ever read my diaries, you would know I'm totally an introvert. I'm always whatever. I'm definitely an introvert extrovert, and I've read up on it, and there are people that are like that, and it's just the way I am. So I'm not right now, like while I'm talking to you, I'm not introverted, but I am. Focus lady, new member. Thank you for becoming a new member. Congratulations. 2412. What happened in 2412? Just out of curiosity. I got to start checking on all these things. 2412. Thanks for becoming a member. Yeah, definitely. It's always good. And please bring your friends too. The more, the merrier. But congratulations on becoming a new member. All right, guys. Well, we've been on for an hour and a half, so I think we're pretty good unless you guys want, if you have any questions or I'm the same way, Tori. I got it. Okay, I'm social for brief stints and then I need to be alone. Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. So I'm good for a while, but you'll see me at parties. I'm always over in the corner. I'm not like a big party fan. But I like one-on-one stuff with people a lot. I do. I'm not introverted on that. The focus lady says, I think that's 100%. Okay, contrast. Good night. All right, you guys, thank you for coming by. I really appreciate it. I know it was a little bit on the spontaneous, but I just thought it's Wednesday night and I just felt like doing something. So anyway, I'm glad. I hope you liked it. It wasn't like a deep conversation, or I feel like next to Henri, I'm like more on USA. But anyway, it's a little bit of a topic. It's not a deep topic, but you never know. Somebody might hear it. If you're in Scientology, think about listening to music, because music can get to you when you can't think about and even get to your own head. But music can get to your heart. And movies can sometimes wake you up. And books are very good too. Sometimes it's tricky in Scientology, but remember, only 30% of Scientology is the Sea Org. 70% are public. So they have every right to go and get books. Scientology doesn't control them, and they don't have, they can if they're getting, stuff against Hubbard and stuff like that, that's going to come up in auditing. But if you just have stuff on life improvement, self-improvement, philosophy, psychology, religions. That's all education, and you have every right to do that, and they have no right to stop you at all. And I highly recommend it because it's amazing how much it helped me. Just amazing. Have an amazing night. All love from Culver City. Thank you. And say hi to your parents, Eric. And last recommended the night, Amazon Prime, What the Constitution Means to Me. Ooh, thought-provoking and the right amount of comedy. Is that what it's called? What the Constitution Means to Me? That's the title of it? Because that's a good one. I'll listen to that tonight. Thank you, Laura. Thank you for coming by. I love you too. If you ever want to do an interview, let us know because we love you. Music is therapy. That's right. That's right. Literally, yeah. Learning it. What is it? Learning and loving and learning. I don't know. I love her music. Okay, Focused Lady, Chicago by Roy Ayers is the song I'm dedicating to you tonight. Ooh, thank you. Wow. Well, thank you very much, Focused Lady. I appreciate that. Chicago by Roy Ayers. Okay. You know, no, I'm not even going to get into it. But you know, the band Chicago, one of our my son's godfather isn't it anymore, but he is named John Ryan, and he was the producer for the original Chicago. And he's a Scientologist. He's very much in, and he has driven by me when I was protesting with that dirtiest looks. And it's like, wake up, man. You know, go look at both sides. Find out why am I out here? That's what happened to me when John left. I said, let's go see him. I want to find out why he left. I can listen to music all day and drown the whole world out. Yeah, me too. That's the thing, JB808. I mean, it's like, it's so healing in so many ways. It really is. Learning and loving with you. Yeah, I love that. And that's on Laura's site. I think you can hear it, right, Laura? I think you can hear it there. Post it where they can hear it. It says Laura Anderson Official. And it's called Learning and Loving with You. It's really good. All right, kids. Well, anyway, what are we at now? We're at Tuesday, so we're almost at Wednesday. We're almost at the middle of the week. And then Drew and I are Friday night, we're going to be out protesting. So we will be there. All right. Peace out. I love you guys. And thank you, Kelly, for being our moderator. Thank you, JB808, for making the thumbnails for me. Okay, what the Constitution means to me. Okay. It's Wednesday. Did I say it was Tuesday? See, when you're retired, it's the weekend every day. So it's just sort of like, it's a moot point. You know, when you work, it's like, every day because you're keeping track of it. But for me, it's like, okay, what day is it? It's Tuesday, Wednesday. It's in the middle of the week. I know that. I know the weekend and I know the middle of the week. So anyway, there you go. Hey, I'm 78. Give me a break. That's what I always say when people go, you don't know this? And I go, look, I was in a cult for 30 years. So, and that's what Aaron stole from me. He's always says that, but I'm the first person who said that. I'd start saying, I was in a cult for 30 years. No, I don't know it. And so now he says that all the time. I think it's funny. Anyway, power lies to paralyze. I love you too. Focus Lady, thank you for becoming a member. Kay White, nothing makes sense. It's so true. So very true. Eric, great. Remember, it's kind of a happy birthday week for you, so you can be celebrating all week. And go by Laura's site if you want to hear her music. And that's it. All right. Thank you guys for coming. Have a wonderful rest of the week. And I'll see you Friday night. All right. Cheers.